Royal biographer Omid Scoby, yes him, has claimed in his latest book that Prince William prioritised his loyalty to the monarchy and actively leaked information about Harry and Meghan in order to undermine them. That is what is contained in that explosive new book, Endgame. Well, joining me now to discuss this is royal biographer Angela Levin. Hello, Angela. How are you?
Hello, very well. Nice to see you.
Very long time. We've not talked about royal stories much on the show for quite a while, but this one's very much all over the news, all over websites, all over social media. And I suppose this is quite an explosive claim, which is because we've always had this thing where Harry and Meghan are bleating and whinging all the time, whether it's to Oprah Winfrey, to Netflix, to Spotify, to Omid Scoby, the man, the biographer, who they've never met, who they've never spoken to, but seems to know an awful lot about their most innermost thoughts and friendships. We hear that side, and we're told the trouble is for the royal family, as remains back in Buckingham Palace, they can't speak out, never explain, never complain. They don't get to have their say. Omid Scoby is basically saying, no, this isn't true. Not only William, but also Charles, happily briefing out stories about other members of the royal family when it suited them. Do you believe him?
No.
Oh, there we are.
No.
Anyway, let's go to a break. No. Why not?
No, well, it's nonsense. You have to read very carefully through his words. He's determined to work for Harry and Meghan and to complain. You can't have a book where a whole family is ghastly except for two angels. It's just not realistic. If you look at what he said he doesn't talk to Meghan, but they do have mutual friends. Now, we know from the first book, Finding Freedom, that Meghan said she had nothing to do with it. He said nothing to do with it, Mr. Liar. But then she allowed aides to do that, and she also told friends. So this is not actually lying. It's being very cunning. I'm putting that down. Also, I'm very surprised Meghan hasn't said that she would sue him, because if in the book Omid is using letters or comments from King Charles to Meghan, because he says that she wrote to him several times and he replied, and this is about people who are racist. Now, she did that with her father. She didn't like that one bit. So we'll have to wait and see. My guess is she won't do it, because if there were letters, and I doubt that, she won't mind at all. She's delighted.
It was very clear, wasn't it, the letter that she wrote to previously that was released, the one to her father, it was written, we saw from the messages exchanged with her aides that she was aware that it was likely to come out, and so, you know, beautiful handwriting and the like. But it is interesting. I mean, you think Andrew Morton, way back when, and he always denied he'd had any contact with Princess Diana when he was writing the biography of her. And of course, it emerged, you know, the go-between. He was having tapes of her. She would ask questions. She would record on tape recordings, little cassette tapes, everything, and he was putting it in the book. It wasn't revealed until after her death, obviously. I mean, you know, there are ways of denying this, telling the truth, where you're, you know, it's kind of a wink, wink and a nudge, nudge. There's no doubt at all that Omid Scoby has got close contact with people close to the royals. But as you say, it's difficult to believe anything they say.
I don't necessarily believe that. I think this is all Harry and Meghan. They're determined to destroy the royal family. They're furious, and so they're going through this every single detail. Let me tell you two things very quickly. One is like a huge complaint about silence in the car when 2 days after the Queen Elizabeth died, they went from where Harry and Meghan were staying to look at flowers and things. Everybody went. Now, the Queen had just died. They complaining ferociously that there was no conversation between them. The journey they took was under 2 minutes, right? They had also organised their own photographers, and William and Catherine decided that wasn't appropriate. So they said, let's go together. And they kept them waiting for over an hour while Meghan decided what she was going to wear. And when they got in the car, no wonder they were furious, because they were late and they have obviously a very tight day. And it's not a time to have a lot of talk about how is Meghan, and she looks wonderful. No, so that is a phony
I remember watching that footage, and everyone was just sort of crowing and saying, oh, isn't it wonderful, wonderful royal rapprochement. I'm looking at the body language thinking, I don't know
Yeah.
what you're all seeing. That's not what
Yeah.
I'm seeing. But this is it. It does seem that every single thing is being bleated about, whinged about, moaned about. They wouldn't survive in any normal family, let alone the royal family.